With the EU Withdrawal Bill going through Parliament and the whole issue of the transfer of power from Brussels to Westminster, back to Westminster and onwards to the devolved administrations at the fore of many people's concerns, how do you see the political situation panning out across the UK in the next 3 to 5 years?
It's a problem. It's a big problem. How Britain is going to be governed and the governance of the country over the next 10 years and beyond. It's a huge question now. Because up until now, the Scottish government Parliament, the Welsh Assembly, Northern Ireland have been having a whole plethora of powers from Brussels that they control. Under the bill, Westminster say, no, they're coming to us. So it's a denial, first of all, of powers we've already got. That's the issue. That's what people miss. The devolution settlement is being broken. The promises of 10, 15 plus years is no longer being kept. And if you think I believe that the Tory government and Whitehall and the establishment mandarins in London will give back to Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland powers that they deserve, they will try and keep as many of those for themselves. Why? Because they're centralisers. Why? That's the way they've run Britain for donkey's years. And of course I don't live in England. I don't understand why the English suffer such centralising authority. There are regions and areas of England that deserve their voice, that need to be heard. And it's about time, if I was living with them, that they woke up to the dangers, even for England, let alone the rest. So you've got those problems. You've also got the problems of the Henry VIII powers, where the government says, okay, all these powers come to us, and we'll decide what to do, not Parliament. There will be no votes in Parliament. The Henry VIII clause allows ministers to do what on earth they want. And what did they say in the referendum? We want to bring back control. What else did they say? A sovereign Parliament. Give more voice to members of Parliament. What are they doing in the bill? Denying all that. And we've had the lesson, haven't we? People had to go to the Supreme Court to get Parliament's vote. Can you imagine that? After hundreds of years, we had to go to the Supreme Court to ensure the rights of Parliament. And that has got to be sorted. We need big people in politics. We need bigger people as members of Parliament. There are plenty there, but they're in the minority. You know, a sovereign Parliament has got to assert its authority. So where do we go? There's need for a constitutional conference, I suppose. How best to govern Britain. Can't go like dribs, crumbs here and there for Wales, 1 or 2 more extra powers to Scotland. It's not going to work like that anymore. It's now going to work on a system of a properly organised federal country. A lot of countries in the world, that's how they govern themselves. You know, the irony is, when we gave freedom, if that's the word to use, to Australia, Canada, and many other countries, what did we do? We created a federal system. That's what we created. We gave them what we knew was the right way of running a country. But it's not the right way of running Britain, is it? No. We can't give that level of power in Britain. So that needs sorting out. The other big issue with the EU Withdrawal Bill is the issue of trade. You know, so much nonsense is spoken about trade. It's unbelievable. Global Britain. We're already global. We export to about 100 countries now. Not just the EU, 57 other countries. We're already global. What is this? Why have we got to tolerate such nonsense that is being perpetrated Doesn't help, of course, that the media is not always on the side of straightforward, clear thinking. Whenever there's something, for instance, the other day there was a huge rally in Manchester, 50,000 people against Brexit. Did BBC cover it? Did John Humphreys or Nick Robinson or Andrew Marr or Andrew Neil, did they cover it? Did they say there was this big protest? No. Not touched. Then in Catalonia, where the police did terrible things in a democracy against voters. What did the BBC say? Protesters. They weren't protesting. They wanted to vote. They wanted to assert their democratic right. That's the world we live in, but I'm quite confident we will win in the end. And people like Jeremy Corbyn, who tends to see things in a centralised way, he has to marry some very sensible things he has with devolution of power. He's going to marry those two things, because it won't work otherwise. The centralised state is over. And when they will decide otherwise, that is when we'll move forward.
Thank you.
So we'll put another go,